Hello, beautiful soul. Thank you so much for purchasing a reading and trusting me with your energy. I appreciate you. Bear with me. I'm doing this read one-handed today, so taking my time with it. All right, so I see you emailed me with your intention here. Just wanted to inform you of the main question regarding someone I recently let go of. What's the energy around him? I have some guilt about letting him go. Does he even care? And what's life looking like in the near future? What should I be focusing on? What's the general guidance? All right, so let's tap in. I'm gonna kind of just briefly go across each question here, because typically, one reading is like one topic or one question, and you have a few topics and a few questions here. So to touch on everything in the amount of time, I'm just gonna, go over everything, and if there's anything I think that needs to be more in-depthly unpacked, we'll stop there. Okay, so recently letting go of this person. Let's see what the energy is here. I'm going to use this deck. All right. Give this deck a little shuffle. Spirit, what needs to be known, what needs to be shown about this situation. The energy around this person. I'm letting them go. Okay. Bottom of the deck energy. Okay, so it looks like on both of your sides of this disconnection, there's almost this feeling of tension or uncomfortability or confusion is a better word, I think, here. But I feel like ultimately the confusion is more about like I'm hearing to say almost like, why wasn't I good enough, or like that type of energy of just feeling like just inadequate in general. And whether this is on your behalf or the other person's behalf, take it as it resonates. But I feel like ultimately these questions that start to come up with disconnecting from people in life are ultimately like going to lead you and this other person. I feel like this was really important for like spiritual growth for this like aspect and point in life, because I feel like there's a lot of spiritual growth that happens from this disconnection, because you and or this other person is made to think about your own self-worth after this connection ends. Okay, we have the Queen of Swords that came out in reverse. I'm showing it to you upright though, so you can see the picture. But the Queen of Swords often talks about confidence, self-assurance, fulfillment, independence, So I feel like in reverse, this just could have been a situation where even if it didn't get to this point yet, I feel like I just keep hearing to say the birth of codependency. And I feel like that could have been something in the future. I feel like this relationship coming to an end is almost like, what do they say? What's the phrase I'm looking for? Blessing in disguise, when something might come with uncomfortability, something might come with tension or stress or chaos or a bunch of questions that now you have to go and do that self-reflection work on, and it's not pleasant. But ultimately, I feel like these things that the Queen of Swords embodies: independence, confidence, self-assurance, action, breaking those codependencies. Like this was what all that was leading up towards. I feel like Spirit was kind of like watching in certain aspects of this relationship where maybe old cycles were triggered, old feelings, thought processes, etc. And Spirit's like, okay, we're going to redirect now, because I feel like this isn't an alignment, but the old lessons and wounds have been triggered and poked enough for you to like recognize and realize them so you can grow and move forward. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm saying, does that make sense? Like, you can answer me. Like, this is a live reading. Okay, let's see. What else needs to be known about this energy of letting this person go? I just keep hearing, do what's best for you. Like, you literally have to. You are the only person who is going to do the hard things for yourself in life, okay? King of Swords came out on the bottom of the deck energy in reverse. So Queen of Swords also came out in reverse. I feel like ultimately, okay, whether this is romantic relationship, platonic relationship, doesn't matter. Letting this relationship go was in your highest good. Because I'm hearing to say neither of you were in a place of like, I'm hearing to say holding space. I feel like both of you are in this point in time in your life where you need to focus more on you, okay? And I'm hearing to say there is a level of like shame or grief or guilt that is being triggered right now, and it's ultimately not even about this other person. I'm hearing to say it has something to do with yourself, and it's about unpacking what that is. Like, why does it make you feel bad to let go of people who aren't in alignment with you. That's the most important thing to be learning about this situation right now, rather than like trying to stop yourself from feeling bad about it, you know? Just asking yourself, like, why are these uncomfortable emotions here? Because you should never have to feel bad for letting go of people who aren't in alignment with you. And to get to that place where the Queen of Wands is letting go of those codependent cycles, those things that aren't in alignment with ease, you know, literally just taking that sword and just, okay, right off those with the relationships, just cut them off. There's no lingering emotions of, oh, I feel so bad. What if they don't like me? And so to get to this point of not feeling bad about letting people go and setting your boundaries and holding those for yourself, you really do need to ask yourself, like, why does part of myself feel uncomfortable because I have to do what's best for me? Why does part of me feel like maybe I don't deserve or I'm not worthy of walking away from things that aren't benefiting me, or just aren't benefiting me to the degree and in the aspects and in the ways that I need them to, you know? I'm hearing to say there's nothing wrong with walking away from things that just don't feel right, that just don't fit. You don't need to have explanations. You don't need to keep having conversations. You don't need to give people the idea of closure that they're looking for. You just need to know that you're walking in your power, doing what's best for you, and sit with those emotions so you can bring peace to yourself. Don't be worried about, oh, well, they're going to hate me and they probably think this about me and blah, blah, blah. What do you think about you? How do you feel about you? Those are the things that matter right now. I feel like you spend a lot of time in your life worrying and thinking and questioning and just constantly being more concerned about how other people think, feel, react, respond to you, speak to you, all these things, rather than how you do those things for yourself. How do you speak to yourself in your own mind? How do you love yourself? How do you know yourself? How do you give to yourself? Like all these things. I feel like this is a lot of like what this Queen of Swords energy is coming into your life to do, to like boost this level of independence, confidence, empowerment, self-fulfillment, self-actualization, self-realization, balance within yourself, healthy boundaries that you can set that protects your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial peace and prosperity. Okay? I feel like that's kind of getting into a little bit of like general guidance too. So let's go to this next part of the email, which says, what's the, I've already talked about the guilt of letting him go. Does he even care? Okay, let's get into this. Let's get into this. Does he even care? I'm actually going to use this Oracle deck instead. Does he even care? Sorry, it's hard to shuffle. Does he even care? Yes, he does care. I feel like this is a person where even if they struggle with their own emotions or uncomfortability for the situation, bottom of the deck energy. Bottom of the deck energy was reconciliation, followed by compassion and empowerment, okay? So I feel like, say for example, you told this person, you know, I don't want to like assume how you feel about the situation, but just for example, you gave a person with, you know, someone you were trying to cut it off with, you're like, I'm just letting you know, this isn't really like, it's not a personal thing, it's just something I need to do within myself. This is just something I feel my soul is calling me to do, da 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 da. I feel like this is the type of person where even if they deal with like rejection or, you know, pain or loss or, you know, all of these uncomfortable things that happen with relationships ending, no matter whether they end platonically or whether they end positively, mutually, or, you know, with a lot of drama and chaos, we all experience some of those questions, you know, will they miss us? Will they replace us easily? Like all those sort of things. And I feel like even if this person kind of deals with some of those same things, they also hold space for like where you may be dealing with those things. And I feel like this is something that they might not even like recognize that they're doing, is like holding space for uncomfortability by taking space. I feel like this person might be a little bit of an avoidant, so they might kind of walk away from conversations, distance themselves, not respond, like those sort of things. And it's not necessarily because they don't want to. It's more like, I'm here to say it's in their highest benefit and yours to not respond, to not engage, to not keep going back. And like, you know how a lot of the times in people, when connections and relationships end, they'll text the ex 47 times before they finally learn to stop texting them back, you know? Before something finally happens where they get pissed off enough or hurt enough and something happens, you know, where they're just like, I can't deal with this anymore. Fuck you, bye. Like, I feel like you, this other person, your spirit guides, the spirit guides of this other person are trying to like not engage in any of that and just kind of move on with more, what's the word? Amicable, if I'm using that word correctly, peace and closure without necessarily needing to constantly communicate to feel like that closure is found. I feel like there's more of like this spiritual, energetic closure that happens as we unpack, and I say we as in you and this other person, unpack the things that happened in that relationship, why it led to an ending, you know, those sort of things. I feel like both of you practice holding space for yourselves in maybe your wrongdoings, your shortcomings, the other person's wrongdoings and shortcomings. But also I feel like the biggest part in this lesson in moving forward and making sure you are still staying in alignment with relationships, both platonic and romantic, whatever the case may be, that is ultimately in your highest good, is your ability to reflect on where you can do more in relationships, where you can do different, where you can do better, and holding space for understanding other people are going to need to do the same thing in relationships. We'll focus on where they can do better because everybody's a person. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. Right? And I feel like this is where a lot of empowerment and the compassion comes in. And I feel like the reconciliation is ultimately not like you guys are going to be like, go off into the sunset together and be like, oh yeah, we found peace, we found closure, but both being able to just walk away from the situation without keep going back, keep poking the bear, well, why did you do this? And why did you do that? And why didn't this work out? And what about that situation? Like, you know how many times I've seen clients come back to me again and again and again and again and again because they kept going back to the ex wanting answers. They kept going back to the parent that they had to walk away from, wanting answers, or the sibling, or whoever, the friend. Well, why did you do this? And, what about me do you think I need to grow on? And all these sort of things. I promise you, there are other people in your life you can ask these questions to if you need an outside perspective of yourself. You do not need to go back to your exes to self-reflect. And you can most definitely ask yourself the necessary questions to learn and grow from that relationship without going back to them for closure, okay? There will be part of yourself in general, I say this not necessarily like specifically for you, but like as people, there's part of ourselves that questions, do they care? Will they try to come back? Should I go back? Did I make the right choice? But every single time these questions start popping up in your mind, I want you to practice fulfilling your time with something that makes you feel good. Whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, do something that makes you proud of yourself. Do something that makes you give yourself the biggest hug or the pat on the back, because when we start going to the past to look for what we need in our future, it's because we're filling a void. And the only way you can fill a void ever, truly, authentically, for real, is from within yourself. It's never going to come from what another person can say, do, tell you, like nothing. Saying and telling you is the same thing. Anyway, okay? I feel like there's a lot of spirit, like kind of, I'm hearing to say taking people out of alignment out of your life so you can finally get your life in alignment. I feel like there's things that, although it may be difficult to like remove distractions, whether that's person, place, or thing, bottom of the deck energy, you are literally freeing yourself from the things that have been keeping you held back in a past version of your life, yourself, your energy, your mindset that just isn't in your highest good. I feel like this energy of like, what's that one song? It keeps popping up on my head. I said, waiting on the world to change. Yeah, they're waiting on the world to change. I feel like ultimately, like you and your spirit guides have gotten into this like agreement, this like energy, this new era where you're like, your spirit guides is like, you don't even need to know all the answers right now. Just trust in my guidance. Trust what your soul is calling you to do, and it's gonna pay off. And I feel like cutting off this relationship and possibly even others, or making some other changes in your life upcoming, is going to be some of these things that spirit's like, even if you don't fully understand why I'm having you do this right now, you'll understand soon enough, and it's going to be okay. You're not alone. You're going to find new people. You're going to find new situations. But most importantly, you're going to find yourself. You're going to find yourself. I'm going to pull a few cards here. Let me see, make sure I got everything. Okay, I started reading this part of your email where it says, I have some guilt about letting him go. Does he even care? And then I just heard my spirit guides be like, would you feel bad about removing a tick from a dog? Would you feel bad about removing a tumor from your body? Would you feel bad about removing some drama from your life? Would you feel bad about removing fucking bullshit from your energy? Would you feel bad about... The answer is no, every time. The answer is no. You would do that because it's in the highest good for the situation, the person, and all involved. So right now, again, even though you do not maybe understand fully why this is in your highest good, and even his highest good, or, okay, their highest good. Yeah, I'm using correct pronouns. Had to double check. His highest good. You will. He will. The situation will, I'm hearing to say, remedy itself, because you'll realize, like, you are literally acting in such divine alignment with your protection, with your discernment, with your intuition, that blessings just start to come and overflow and start to, like, almost like, it's almost like, you know, when you do the hard thing, universe is like, here's a treat, here's your reward. And I feel like you're about to see what some of those rewards are. Because you did you did the tick removal, you did the tumor removal, you did the bullshit removal, you did the drama removal, okay? You did those things. And so spirit is like, okay, that was a hard thing, that was a hard thing, that was a hard thing, that was a hard thing. Are you ready to be blessed now? Hold out your hand. Like, that's really, like, I feel like this energy that you're about to be in for this next upcoming energy. I'm hearing to say the 1st of 2025. Okay, so let's see what needs to be known, what needs to be shown for this upcoming energy for 2025. Okay, 8 of Pentacles. I'll show you the card. This is these blessings coming in, babe. This is literally blessing after blessing after blessing after blessing after blessing after blessing, because you did the removal, the removal, the removal, the removal, the removal. Like, you did the hard fucking work. You are getting to this place in your life where you're doing the self-reflection, again, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how painful it may be. And spirit's like, I see you doing the work. And I guess I'm guessing, even if you've been feeling like things aren't and you're working in your higher favor, you need this little bit of a reminder that your hard work and doing the hard thing will pay off. Okay, literally, oh my fuck. Cut the deck. 9 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. We went from the Queen of Swords in reverse to the Queen of Wands upright. This is literally you saying, I did the hard thing. I learned from those hard situations. I learned from every fucking difficult fucking task. I learned from everything I had to cut off and everything I had to walk away from. And it literally, taking that leap of faith, brought me all of these blessings. What the fuck? This is just confirmation of this upcoming energy for 2025. Let's get a little bit closer, because I know, and we still got a couple months in the year, so let's see what you need to know for, like, this next, through the month of October energy. Okay, top of the deck energy is the Fool. The Fool card talks all about taking leaps of faith, trusting in yourself, trusting in the process, all right? And I feel like this is mostly, again, I'm hearing a big reminder. We got to feel to deal to heal. In order to let go of relationships, let go of emotions that weigh us down and all these things, we have to face them. We have to face our fears. We have to face those questions that stay on our mind and fucking repeat, okay? You have to ask yourself slowly and intentionally, how can I better me today? How can I let go of yesterday? And pay attention to the way Spirit asks you to move. Pay attention to the things you feel called to do, even if you don't know why you feel called to do them. And trust that. And watch the blessings come in. Whether this is in personal aspect of life, work, creative pursuits, money, it doesn't matter. When you follow what your intuition is telling you to do, even when you don't fucking know how it's all going to work out, sometimes you will be blessed tenfold. Okay, let's see. I'm going to switch from the tarot here to... What's that one... for some reason, there's a TikTok sound that's coming up, and it goes, emergency, emergency, paging Dr. Beat. Emergency, emergency, paging Dr. Beat. Why is that popping up in my head right now, Spirit? Okay, I'm hearing to say that it's the emergency part that was, like, it's really paying attention. I feel like your spirit guides have been really trying to, like, get your attention quickly on certain things or people or aspects of your life right now. And it's almost like you get so caught up in things going on in your head that you miss the signs. And so spirit really sends you like red flashing signs, signals. Sometimes these can come in the form of what we call tower moments. Okay, and if you don't know what a tower moment is already, it's these things that lead to death and rebirth processes, spiritual, personal, mental, emotional evolution. Okay, but this a lot of the times comes through pain, loss, heartbreak, grief, blockages, struggles, just different things that make life fucking harder. Okay, and I feel like that's kind of what you've been going through. I'm here to say not only in this relationship and in this situation, but in other aspects of life too. And you're really learning to trust and just go with the flow of these death and rebirth processes, and learning how to like ground yourself, love yourself, give yourself patience and compassion through these change, like transformation processes, these transmutation eras in life, where a lot of times we do go through things that bring on like the dark night of the soul symptoms, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, overwhelm, like these different things that make us stay stuck in our head more. But it's literally the things that are getting us stuck in our head to bring us back into our heart and head alignment. Does that make sense? Okay. Again, I'm asking you, does that make sense? Like, this is a live reading. Jeez. Okay. So I feel like you're about to be in this position where you spend a lot of time kind of thinking a lot. I'm seeing an image of you like doing a lot of journaling. So if you do like shadow work and things like that to help you unpack this relationship. Okay, I don't know if this is necessarily romantic relationship or not, but there's this book that I bought a while back, and it was, I remember what it was called, 100%. It was like After the Breakup, or How to Win After the Breakup, or something like that. And it was a book that had a bunch of journaling prompts and all these different things that like are self-reflective prompts to help you grow and let go after the relationship. So maybe go online and like try to find either that book, or I'll try to find the name of it and I'll email it to you. Or just other writing prompts and things like that. And whether this is a romantic relationship or not, because your email didn't say, just pay attention to like the fact that like relationships ending bring up the uncomfortable emotions. It doesn't matter whether it's romantic or platonic. And really pay attention to your inner child and how your inner child feels through the mourning process of this relationship. Because even if it's in our highest good to let go of people and situations, we still need to allow ourselves to mourn, because, you know, obviously we wouldn't have had those people and situations in our life if we never wanted them there. So there was some sort of change, some sort of perspective shift, something that happened. And sometimes we just need to kind of talk extra carefully with our inner child about why it's important to let them go, and to let them know that we're still here for them through these changes, and they can talk to us through these uncomfortabilities of letting particular things and people and situations that weren't in our highest good go, and we can trust that we're building a better future for us tomorrow by letting go of these things today, you know? So I hope this resonates. I hope this answers all of your questions. Usually I'm able to kind of, you know, have a little conversation and go back and forth a little more with people during a live session. So I don't really have anything else. There's no other messages that I'm getting from Spirit. Let me just tap in one more time, see any closing messages that needs to be known, needs to be shown in the highest good. I am hearing radio silence. All right. So yeah, I feel like that's the end of the read. Thank you so much again for trusting me with your energy. I hope this resonates. If you feel so called to leave some feedback or a little testimonial, I add testimonials to my Instagram and my website and my TikTok. They help me gain new clients. They also help me make my readings and my services better for you in the future and other clients. So I appreciate you very much for your time, your energy, trusting me to do this reading for you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.